All right, so she met her deceased husband's long-lost son over the weekend to see if their online chemistry matched in person. But plot twist, his mom came along. How did it go? All right, Davi, get us caught up with the details.
Okay, so we first heard from, quote, Conflicted last week. She wrote us and was like, my husband passed away 6 years ago. I was devastated. It was totally unexpected. But she's been hanging by herself for a little while. She got a message on Facebook from a strange woman that was like, I'm looking for my son's father. And she's like, well, what are you talking about? And she's like, we did a DNA test. Got a pop-up from your deceased husband. So she's like, my husband who passed away had a child out of wedlock of his first marriage with a mistress. And he didn't go about his life ignoring his child. It wasn't like that. It was like the mistress kept the child a secret, and now the child really wants to know his dad. Unfortunately, dad passed away, but the mom put her in touch with new wife, and they got to talking on the phone and FaceTime and talking, and she's like, oh my gosh, he's so charismatic. And we were like
Like
what?
his father.
Yeah, and she's like, just like his father. He's so handsome like his father. There's only a 11-year age difference, and that's not too shabby. And we're like, where's this going? So then they decide they're going to meet up, and she's like, I'm going to bring pictures. This is not going to be physical. I'm just bringing pictures of his dad, talk to him about his dad. And then at the last minute, he calls and he's like, oh, by the way, my mom's coming. So,
oh, no.
Yeah.
No, was that the update on Friday?
It
Yes.
was. He slipped. Like, she wasn't supposed to come. She was asking him about his weekend, and he accidentally, like, it slipped that she was coming in town. And then mom was like, oh, I want to meet her. I want to come.
So does that mean she's kind of misinterpreted what was going on between the two of them? Like she thought there was something like sexual and he was just being nice and just totally misinterpreted it?
I don't think so.
It might still, like, he might still have feelings there, but he slipped up and told his mom, and she was like, I'm coming on your, if he thought of it as a first date, his mom was like, I'm coming on your first date with you.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's no way I can get out of it. So she's like, I guess I'm meeting my deceased husband's son and his old mistress at this first date. So many red flags.
God. I needed this so badly, you don't even know.
All right, so here's how the weekend went. There's only one word to describe this past weekend: awkward and wonderful. During my several-hour drive, I contemplated turning around multiple times, but something inside me kept pushing me to go through with this meetup. I got to my hotel and I freshened up. I stood at the bathroom mirror staring at myself for a while. That's when I asked my husband for a sign that I was doing the right thing. I got to the restaurant before Jake, using a fake name, and his mom. The hostess went ahead and sat me at a table while I was waiting for them to arrive. That's when the server came up and introduced himself. His name is the same name as my deceased husband. And before you ask, no, it is not a common name. That's when I knew I was doing the right thing.
Or the very wrong thing. I mean,
Yeah. You know what? Also, I think when you are looking for a sign, you will find it in anything. Like, okay, so he sat down at the table and there was a fork, and my deceased husband used to use forks.
You have to admit, it is odd that your server has the
Yeah,
same
it is.
name as your deceased husband. She took it as a good sign. That's when I knew I was doing the right thing. I immediately ordered a glass of wine to calm the nerves. Before my wine even arrived at the table, Jake and his mom walked in, spotted me, and started heading my way. I put out my hand to offer her a handshake, but she said, I hope it's okay, I'm a hugger, and proceeded to give me this big bear hug. Jake and I took our cue from her and awkwardly hugged as well.
no.
We all sat down, and our server showed back up again. He reintroduced himself, and his name was not lost on Jake and his mom. My husband was definitely making his presence known. All in all, the dinner was quite nice. Jake's mom actually did a majority of the talking. I think it was nervous chatter on her part. I gave Jake his father's watch and some pictures. He was very stoic, didn't exude a lot of emotion, as this was a man he had never met. Dinner concluded, and we went our separate ways. After I got back to the hotel is when Jake texted, asking if we can meet at my hotel bar.
Oh, God.
I, of course, said yes. I went down to the bar to wait for his arrival, and when he walked in, sans his mother this time, I felt the butterflies.
Oh, jeez.
While he does resemble his father, he is very much his own man. Our conversation was seamless at the bar. It was getting late, and I had a long drive ahead of me the next morning, so I was the one who concluded the evening. He asked if he could walk me to my hotel door. I obliged.
That better be it.
At the door, we both expressed what a pleasant evening it had been, mom and all. As I put my key card in the door and turned around to say goodnight, that's when it happened. He kissed me.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't hesitate to kiss him back. It was more than a spark. It was a firework. After the kiss, we just kind of stared at each other for a second, and that's when he started to apologize. I stopped him and said he had no reason to apologize. I felt it too. We left the night like that. He texted me to let me know he got home okay and asked me to text him tomorrow after I had arrived safely. That's when he said he was going to look at his calendar and book a weekend trip to see me soon. I firmly believe now more than ever my husband had a hand in setting this up.
No, he didn't. I'll tell you right now. No, he didn't. you are not listening to the other signs, man. You are not paying attention to the other signs. See, he probably gave you 99 signs not to show up to dinner, and you picked the one where there was some common ground, which was the names, and went with it.
Hey, but guys, good news. They didn't do it.
Yeah. She's looking for a sign like, if I bring a condom and he brings a condom, that's the sign I'm looking for.
Oh, and it's the same brand my husband used to buy when we first started dating.
It's meant to be. We're a Trojan family.
The Bert Show.